For privacy reasons, names and places have been changed. This story is inspired by true events.
On October 12, 2008, Rachel Morrison, 28, disappeared while hiking alone in Red Rock Canyon National Conservation Area near Las Vegas, Nevada. Despite extensive search operations involving helicopters, K-9 units, and hundreds of volunteers, no trace of the experienced hiker from Portland was ever found. The case became one of Nevada's most baffling missing persons investigations in the rugged desert landscape. For 9 years, Rachel's family refused to give up hope while conducting their own searches throughout the Southwest. Then, in April 2017, a rock climbing accident led to a discovery that would finally reveal what happened during that fateful autumn day in the Mojave Desert. This is the complete story of Rachel Morrison's disappearance and the tragic circumstances that kept her hidden for nearly a decade. October 12, 2008, dawned clear and cool in the Mojave Desert, with temperatures expected to reach a comfortable 78 degrees by afternoon. Rachel Morrison, a 28-year-old environmental consultant from Portland, Oregon, had arrived in Las Vegas 3 days earlier for a work conference but decided to extend her stay for personal hiking time in the renowned Red Rock Canyon. Rachel was an experienced outdoors enthusiast who had completed sections of the Pacific Crest Trail and regularly climbed in Oregon's Cascade Range. Her social media posts from the trip showed her excitement about exploring Nevada's desert landscape, particularly the challenging scrambles and technical routes that Red Rock Canyon offered to skilled hikers. She checked out of her hotel room at the Flamingo at 7:30 a.m., leaving her conference materials and business clothes behind while packing only hiking gear in her rental car. The front desk clerk later told investigators that Rachel seemed enthusiastic and well-prepared, carrying a large backpack, plenty of water, and mentioning plans to tackle one of the more remote canyon areas. Rachel's last confirmed contact was a text message sent to her roommate in Portland at 8:45 a.m. from the Red Rock Canyon Visitor Center parking lot. The message read, "Beautiful morning for White Rock Springs Trail. Back to civilization by sunset. Can't wait to show you photos." When Rachel failed to return her rental car by the Monday checkout deadline and missed her Tuesday flight to Portland, the alarm was raised by both the car rental company and her worried roommate, who had been expecting regular updates about the hiking adventure. The initial response came from the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, but jurisdiction quickly transferred to the Bureau of Land Management Rangers who managed Red Rock Canyon. Ranger Thomas Garrett, with 15 years of experience in desert search and rescue, arrived at the visitor center by Tuesday afternoon to begin the investigation. The rental car was found exactly where Rachel had parked it 3 days earlier, unlocked with her purse visible on the passenger seat. Her identification, credit cards, and cash were untouched, but her hiking gear was missing. The car's interior showed no signs of struggle, and nearby security cameras confirmed she had departed alone on foot toward the White Rock Springs trailhead. Ranger Garrett immediately recognized the complexity of the situation. White Rock Springs was a moderately difficult 5-mile round-trip trail that branched into numerous unmarked routes leading deeper into the canyon system. Experienced hikers often deviated from established paths to explore slot canyons, hidden springs, and challenging scrambles that weren't documented on official trail maps. The search began Wednesday morning with a helicopter flyover of the most likely routes. Desert search and rescue volunteers from Las Vegas joined BLM Rangers in ground teams, focusing initially on the main trail and obvious side routes. Dogs were brought in to establish scent trails, which led from the parking area toward White Rock Springs before becoming confused in the rocky terrain where foot traffic from multiple hikers had obscured individual tracks. By Thursday, the search had expanded to include technical rescue teams capable of accessing slot canyons and cliff faces where an injured hiker might be trapped. The Nevada National Guard contributed additional helicopter resources, using thermal imaging equipment to detect body heat in shadowed canyon areas where ground teams couldn't easily reach. The investigation revealed Rachel's meticulous planning and extensive hiking experience, which made her disappearance even more puzzling. Her Portland apartment contained detailed maps of Red Rock Canyon with several routes marked in highlighter, suggesting she had researched the area thoroughly before her trip. Credit card records showed Rachel had purchased additional hiking supplies in Las Vegas, including extra water, high-energy food, and a personal locator beacon, though the device was never activated and wasn't responding to signal searches. Her cell phone records indicated no calls or messages after the 8:45 a.m. text, and cell tower data showed her phone had gone offline in the White Rock Springs area. Interviews with other hikers who had been in the area on October 12 provided conflicting information. A couple from California remembered seeing a woman matching Rachel's description on the main trail around 10:30 a.m., moving confidently toward the springs. However, a solo hiker claimed to have spotted someone fitting her description much later in the day, around 4 p.m., in a completely different section of the canyon system near the Calico Tanks area. The search operation grew to involve over 300 volunteers and professional rescuers, making it one of the largest missing person searches in Nevada history. Teams methodically covered over 50 square miles of desert terrain, checking every accessible canyon, cave, and crevice where someone might have fallen or taken shelter. Weather conditions during the search were favorable, with clear skies and mild temperatures that allowed for extended search periods. However, the vastness of the terrain and the numerous hiding spots created by the complex geology made comprehensive coverage nearly impossible. After 2 weeks of intensive searching, the official operation was scaled back to periodic sweeps and follow-up investigations of reported sightings. Ranger Garrett maintained that Rachel was likely somewhere within the searched area but had been concealed by terrain features or weather that prevented detection. Several theories emerged about what might have happened. The most likely scenario involved Rachel leaving the established trail to explore unmapped slot canyons or technical climbing routes. A fall or injury in such remote areas could easily prove fatal, with the body hidden from aerial searches by rock formations. Another possibility was that Rachel had become disoriented in the maze-like canyon system and wandered into more remote areas where she succumbed to exposure or dehydration. Despite her experience, the desert environment was unfamiliar, and even skilled hikers could become lost in the complex terrain. The search generated numerous false leads and reported sightings throughout Nevada and neighboring states. Hikers reported finding gear that might have belonged to Rachel, but none of the items could be definitively connected to her through serial numbers or personal identification. Rachel's family, led by her parents James and Linda Morrison, refused to accept that their daughter was gone forever. They organized private search expeditions, hiring experienced desert guides and technical climbers to access areas that official searches might have missed. Throughout 2009 and 2010, the Morrison family conducted quarterly search expeditions to Red Rock Canyon, systematically exploring areas beyond the initial search perimeter. They worked with private investigators and consulted with geology experts about hidden caves or unstable rock formations that might have trapped their daughter. The family's dedication generated media attention and public support, with hiking groups and climbing organizations volunteering time and expertise to the ongoing search efforts. Online communities shared theories and organized their own searches, though none produced concrete evidence. In 2011, the case gained renewed attention when human remains were discovered in a remote area of Death Valley, about 100 miles from Red Rock Canyon. The remains were eventually identified as belonging to a different missing hiker, but the discovery reminded everyone that the desert could hide secrets for years or decades. Private investigator Sarah Coleman, hired by the Morrison family, focused on the possibility that Rachel had encountered foul play rather than becoming lost or injured. However, extensive background checks revealed no enemies or threatening situations in Rachel's life, and the remote location made random criminal encounters unlikely. The investigation also considered whether Rachel might have started a new life elsewhere, but her financial record showed no activity after her disappearance, and she had left behind a successful career and close family relationships that made voluntary disappearance seem improbable. By 2015, the active search efforts had largely ceased, though the case remained officially open and the Morrison family continued periodic visits to Red Rock Canyon. Online missing persons communities kept Rachel's case visible, sharing her story and organizing occasional volunteer searches. The area where Rachel disappeared continued to attract thousands of hikers annually, and BLM rangers regularly reminded visitors about the case while emphasizing safety protocols for desert hiking. Several other hikers went missing in Red Rock Canyon during subsequent years, though most were found within days through improved search techniques and technology. Advances in search technology, including better GPS tracking and drone capabilities, offered hope that Rachel's remains might eventually be located. The Morrison family invested in new equipment and training, becoming skilled desert searchers themselves while maintaining hope for closure. April 8, 2017, began as a routine day for the Las Vegas Technical Rescue Team conducting a training exercise in Red Rock Canyon's more challenging climbing areas. The team was practicing rope rescue techniques on cliff faces near the Calico Tanks area, about 2 miles from the White Rock Springs Trail where Rachel was last seen. Around 2:15 p.m., team member Jake Martinez was setting up anchor points on a cliff face when he noticed something unusual in a narrow crevice about 40 feet below his position. What appeared to be fabric was visible beneath a massive boulder that had apparently shifted or fallen, creating a small cave-like space. The technical rescue team immediately recognized the potential significance of their discovery and contacted BLM rangers and law enforcement. Within hours, a careful recovery operation was underway, with experienced climbers working to access the confined space beneath the boulder. What they found confirmed what investigators had long suspected. Rachel Morrison's remains, along with her hiking gear, were trapped in a space that had been completely invisible from above and inaccessible to previous search teams. The massive boulder, estimated to weigh several tons, had apparently shifted during the 9 years since her disappearance, completely sealing off the crevice where she had fallen. Initial examination suggested Rachel had fallen into the narrow crevice, possibly while attempting to climb or explore the rock formation. The fall itself might not have been fatal, but the confined space and her inability to escape had led to her death from exposure and dehydration. Personal items found with the remains confirmed her identity even before formal forensic analysis. Her backpack contained the extra supplies she had purchased in Las Vegas, along with a partially written note that provided heartbreaking insight into her final hours. The note, written in Rachel's distinctive handwriting, described falling into the crevice around midday on October 12 and her initial attempts to climb out. She wrote about rationing her water and believing someone would find her based on the trail of gear she had dropped while falling. Forensic analysis conducted by the Clark County Coroner's Office confirmed that Rachel had survived the initial fall but died several days later from dehydration and exposure. The confined space had protected her remains from desert scavengers but also explained why extensive search efforts had failed to locate her. Geological experts examined the boulder formation and determined that the massive rock had indeed shifted sometime after Rachel's death, possibly during flash flooding or seismic activity that periodically affects the region. This movement had completely sealed the crevice, making detection impossible until the recent climbing activity revealed the hidden space. The discovery location was only about 200 yards from areas that had been extensively searched in 2008, but the crevice had been completely hidden from above and accessible only through technical climbing routes that search teams hadn't prioritized. The narrow opening was invisible unless viewed from the specific angle where Martinez had been working. Rachel's personal locator beacon was found with her remains, but examination showed it had been damaged during the fall and never transmitted a signal. Her cell phone was also recovered, with the last attempted call logged at 1:47 p.m. on October 12, likely her final effort to seek help before the phone battery died. The tragic circumstances of Rachel's death highlighted both the dangerous beauty of desert landscapes and the limitations of even extensive search operations in complex terrain. Despite hundreds of searchers and modern technology, she had been hidden just yards from heavily traveled areas. The Morrison family's 9-year search for answers finally ended with the devastating confirmation they had long dreaded but needed for closure. James and Linda Morrison expressed gratitude to the technical rescue team and all the volunteers who had never given up searching for their daughter. The discovery led to discussions about improving search protocols in complex terrain and better educating hikers about the unique dangers of desert environments. Red Rock Canyon officials implemented new safety measures, including mandatory check-in procedures for solo hikers planning to explore unmarked routes. Rachel's case became a training example for search and rescue teams, demonstrating how natural features can completely conceal accident victims even in areas that appear to have been thoroughly searched. The importance of technical climbing expertise in search operations was emphasized in subsequent training programs. The technical rescue team that discovered Rachel's remains was recognized for their careful handling of the recovery and their dedication to bringing closure to the Morrison family. The discovery was considered one of the most significant cold case resolutions in Nevada's outdoor recreation areas. Environmental factors that led to the boulder shifting and eventually revealing the crevice remain under study by geologists interested in how desert landscapes change over time. The case highlighted how natural processes can both conceal and eventually reveal evidence of human tragedies. Rachel Morrison's story serves as a sobering reminder of the inherent risks in desert hiking, even for experienced outdoors enthusiasts. Her meticulous planning and extensive experience couldn't prevent a tragic accident in terrain that presents unique and often invisible dangers. The 9-year search effort demonstrated the dedication of both professional rescuers and volunteer communities who refused to abandon missing persons cases. The Morrison family's persistence kept Rachel's case active and eventually contributed to the discovery that provided closure. For search and rescue organizations, the case provided valuable lessons about the limitations of traditional search methods in complex geological terrain. The importance of technical climbing skills and specialized equipment in accessing all potential areas became a priority in training programs. The Red Rock Canyon area continues to attract thousands of visitors annually, with Rachel's story serving as an educational tool for promoting hiking safety and proper preparation. Memorial markers now remind visitors of the area's potential dangers and the importance of staying on established trails. Advanced search technologies, including ground-penetrating radar and improved drone capabilities, have been implemented in desert search operations partly as a result of lessons learned from Rachel's case. However, the vastness and complexity of desert environments ensure that some tragedies may remain hidden for years or decades. The case ultimately demonstrates that nature can be both beautiful and unforgiving, requiring constant respect and preparation from those who venture into remote areas. While Rachel's story ended tragically, her legacy continues through improved safety protocols and the ongoing dedication of search and rescue communities who work to prevent similar tragedies. As of 2017, the crevice where Rachel was found has been sealed for safety reasons, and the area serves as a memorial to remind hikers of the desert's hidden dangers. Her family continues to support search and rescue organizations and desert safety education programs, ensuring that her story helps protect future adventurers in Nevada's challenging but beautiful landscapes.